Good afternoon and welcome to Design Master Training. My name is David Robison. Today we are going to be looking at breaker curves and selective coordination in Design Master Electrical. If you are attending the training live, you can ask questions in the chat box. If you're watching the recording of the training, you can call or email questions. Our phone number is 866-516-9497 and our email address is support@designmaster.biz. So in our most recent release of Design Master Electrical, we added breaker curves. And so in this training, I want to take a look at this new feature and see how it works and what you can use it for in your projects. There's two places where you're working with the curves. The first is in the various panel and transformer dialogues. We now have the set curve buttons. There's going to be one for your upstream overcurrent protection, and then one for your main disconnect. And this allows you to set the specific breaker that's being used at that point, and then we'll use that breaker to draw the curve on a selective coordination graph. So we've got the option here to set the curve. We click that, and then we've got a bunch of options for setting the curve. We'll take a look at that in a moment. The other place where we have commands related to this is the selective coordination pull down here. It's in the distribution equipment section. We've got commands for inserting the graph and then manipulating the graph once it's in there. So those are kind of the two places that we're going to be working in the set curve and then in the selective coordination graph buttons. These are also available on the pull down menu. All right, they're under the distribution equipment schedules. So on the pull down menu under distribution equipment schedules, we have the coordination graph commands there as well. So this is the project we've got. This is a pretty simple one line I've got going on. So this is what our system looks like. We've got a main panel, some sub panels, some transformers. Let's go ahead and specify some breaker curves and then see what they look like on a graph. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up my panel dialog, and I'm going to choose panel P. And I can set the curve for that breaker. And if I click select curve, it brings up this dialog again. You start by selecting the manufacturer, and then we have a number of breaker types for all of them built into the software. This list is one that basically we have to manually digitize these. There's no standard or easy way to get them in there. So we are just slowly adding them. So if there are more breaker types that you would like to see, let us know and we can prioritize getting them added. We've heard from a lot of people that they kind of have standardized on Eaton breakers. So we've obviously spent quite a bit of time getting the various Eaton breakers implemented. So we've got a lot of choices there under Eaton, not so many under the other types, but that's a list that is growing. So you select your manufacturer and then you select your breaker type. Obviously you do need to know what type of breaker you're using to have a curve that's worthwhile. So we can't just kind of have some default breaker curve because they're quite variable depending upon the specific breaker that you're using. If you choose a type over here that doesn't have a breaker that's the right size, you won't get an option. So we know the size of this breaker. It's a 225 amp breaker. So if you choose something that doesn't have a 225 amp choice, it's just not even going to give you it over here. So we'll choose this Digitrip 210. This one happens to be an electronic breaker, so we have the options here for setting, defining the curve. We'll leave all of those at the default for the moment. And then we click OK, and now that curve is set. So you can do that for the other curves in your project. Then we can use the insert selective coordination graph to actually display that on the drawing. Click the Add Distribution Equipment Curve, and this is where we can choose the curve to display. So we'll take that panel P, and it has just a feeder overcurrent protection, so it's going to choose just that. If it also had a main disconnect, it would prompt for which of the two you were going to use. We'll click OK, specify a point here, and it draws in the curve for us. So we've got our coordination graph, we've got that breaker being described, and then we actually have the breaker being drawn here. So once you've defined it, then you can print it. Then we've got the other commands for modifying this. So once it's in there, typically you're not showing just one breaker. You're going to show multiple breakers to make sure that they are coordinated. So upstream of panel P, we've got MDP. So we can go to MDP and set a breaker curve there. So we'll go ahead and go to panel MDP. And we'll actually put a main disconnect on it. And then we'll set the curve for that main disconnect. And again, we can choose the type. It remembers the manufacturer you were using previously. It's a 400 amp breaker, so we're going to need to use something different than we were. I'm going to have to go find one that has a 400 amp option. All right, so we can use this KD frame breaker. We'll leave all the defaults, all the settings at their default. You would, for these electronic breakers in particular, you really kind of need to pull out the cut sheet and make sure you understand what options you have for it. Our software allows you to set it, but we're not going to describe how all of these options work for each breaker. It's assumed that you can, you know which breaker you're inserting and that you are comfortable and are aware of what these different settings are for that specific breaker. So these do match up with what the manufacturer specified, but you do need to get the manufacturer's cut sheet to really make sense of some of this stuff. And now I can edit this graph here, and we're going to add MDP as a curve, and here it's going to prompt us, do you want to use the feeder or the main disconnect curve? I'm going to add the main disconnect, click OK, and now it puts in our other curve. So we have the MDP curve, we have the P curve. It also labels the fault for each of those, so it shows you where the fault is for each item on the graph. So now we want to make some adjustments here so that these curves have a little bit more space and they're not overlapping. The way we can do that, you can go to the set curve in the dialogues and make the changes there, but it's a little easier once you have the graph in here to use the edit curve. You can either select the curve or you can select the label to edit a curve, and you can adjust the settings. So we're going to take this MDP, we're going to adjust the short time delay, and I'm going to adjust this long time delay as well. And that pulled this up. And we also need to make an adjustment on this other breaker because we've got a conflict there. So having a little bit of trouble getting these to actually coordinate here. But that's what the software tells you, that these two breakers maybe are not the best choice for this arrangement. Let's see if I change this short time pickup. There we go. So now I've got the two breakers adjusted so that they're not overlapping. The layout of this graph is fixed. The goal was to put together a layout that we thought was going to work for everybody and not have a whole bunch of customization in there to make it a little bit simpler to program and also to make your life a little bit simpler where you're not spending all your time fussing with what this graph looks like, that it should come out and just look nice as it is. You can rearrange the order. So right now we've got P and then MDP. It might make more sense to list, that's still the edit curve. I'll run the edit graph command. And it'll just rearrange the labels. So we've got the MDP being listed first and then the P breaker being listed second. The label has the manufacturer and then the description of the breaker type. For the electronic breakers, it also has all of the trip settings so that you can actually then set your breaker in the field to match what you're using for your coordination purposes. Just talking a little bit more about this layout, you can change layers and text styles. So if you do need to change those, that's in our customization. Underneath layers, we have the option. Under the general layer system, we've got all the selective coordination graph layers here. So you can add different layers and use different colors to get that to match your current styles. And then for the text styles, we ended up using the schedule text styles. So under schedule cell and schedule header, those are the styles being used for the text itself. So if you do need to make changes, that's where you would go to adjust that. You can also set curves for equipment connections. So we've been looking at distribution equipment. I've also got this piece of equipment here. So we can go to this equipment connection, and for this motor, we could also set a breaker curve. We'll do this GE, and then this is going to be a thermal breaker, so it doesn't have all of the electronic settings. It just has an instantaneous time. And in this case, it doesn't really even have any options. The breaker just is what it is. You can't adjust anything. So we'll put that in there, and we'll add that to our graph. And so we'll add an equipment connection this time. That's under my mechanical equipment. Add RTU4 as an option. We are going to do the circuit overcurrent protection. Had the option there also for the breaker disconnect. You'll see that, okay, now we've got this new curve. It's a nice looking thermal curve that obviously is not coordinating with the other curves that are being displayed. And then at this point, you need to make adjustments, choose different breakers, change the settings to get those so that they are not overlapping. The software doesn't do that for you automatically. You do still have to go in and make those adjustments manually to get everything to look right. But the software does lay them out for you nicely. You'll see that the thermal breaker has a slightly shorter label on it because there's not as many settings for it. There are times when you need to include something on the graph that we don't have. Maybe there's a breaker, or maybe you've got a generator damage curve that we had someone request. So we do have the ability to also add custom curves. So the first step to that is you actually want to get in AutoCAD the curve being displayed, because you're actually going to digitize it so that we can then display it. So I have a PDF here that I'm going to pull into AutoCAD. And recent versions of AutoCAD handle PDFs really nicely. They can display them basically as an underlay like an XREF. And so we can use this to get our points. So we've got this purple line, which is the alternator damage curve for this generator. So if we wanted to show that, we need to digitize it. And that process is we edit the graph, and I'm going to add a custom curve. And if you have a curve file that you've predefined, so if you used this before, you can just select the file that you've already created. In this case, we're going to make a new one. So I'm going to click Create Curve File. I'll call it Kohler Generator. And then we get the ability to describe it in the label. This will just show up in the graph. So we'll put that as the label. Click OK. And now it's going to prompt you to digitize it. So the first thing you have to do is you have to specify the amps axis. So it wants to know the first current value. So I'm going to do 10 amps. Specify this point here. And then we'll do 100 amps and do this one here. We do prompt you for the specific values that you're specifying because the amps axis varies a little bit depending on the graph you're looking at. Then we ask for the 1 second and the 10 second on the y-axis because 99 times out of 100 you're going to have a 1 second and 10 second somewhere on there. So those are usually pretty consistent. The current values vary a little bit. And then it's going to ask you to specify the points on the curve. So now we just start tracing the curve. And since we're in AutoCAD, this makes this really nice and easy. So we just start kind of tracing along. You give it as many points as you want. So it's kind of up to you as to how precise you want your curve to be. When you're done, you press Enter. If you want to, you can treat that as the lower bound, and then you can do an upper bound as well, and then you'd actually get a nice shaded area. In this case, it's just a curve. So we can press Enter to say there's no area to it. It's just a curve. And now it's using that file. It pulled in the label, the default automatically. And click OK. And so now it's being included in our graph. We click OK, and it'll redraw it with that curve included. Go back to look at this here. So now we have that generator curve being shown with the other options. So that's how you can get a custom curve included if you need it. And that saves a file. We call it a DBC file. I think that's a Design Master Breaker Curve file, I think is what why we chose that. Anyway, it's just a text document so that you can save that and then reuse it if you have curves that you're using in multiple projects. So you can build up a little library of your own default curves for the things that we don't have included in the software. Though generally we're trying to include, at least for the breakers, all the curves that you would need. Now, you could, in theory, do your breakers this way. It would be a lot of work because there's a lot of different settings for those breakers. So each breaker would require multiple files. So it's generally not recommended that you do that. If you need additional breakers, contact us and we will get them included in the software. Because again, the goal is to have as many breakers as possible included. If you do make changes outside of just in the course of your project, you can run the update graph command to update the graph. So say we go to this panel and we upsize from a 400 to an 800 amp bus, which is going to give us a bigger main breaker. We can then update this graph and it will update it for us. In this case, it draws a big X on it. And if you zoom in, it'll say the main breaker disconnect, the curve isn't set. Most likely because the breaker curve we've chosen doesn't have a 800 amp option anymore. So there's nothing there. Throws the big X on there saying you need to go choose a new breaker curve. So we can run edit curve, select that label, and then we can go find a breaker that does have an 800 amp option. So there, now we have that breaker included, and it looks like that's a thermal one rather than electronic. The graph also updates when you run the update all. So if you're on the drawing and you run the update, you can know that your graphs are getting updated. So you can update them individually as you're working on a specific area, and then when you update your whole drawing, you run the update all, and then it will get updated as well. I think that's it for the features on breaker curves. It's not a terribly complicated feature. It just does add a lot of power to the software, but the actual use of it is fairly straightforward. Are there any questions related to breaker curves or any questions related to anything else in the software? You can go ahead and type them into the chat box down there. I'm not seeing any questions, so we're going to wrap it up for the afternoon. Thank you for watching today's Design Master training. Contact us with questions or comments by calling 866-516-9497 or emailing support@designmaster.biz.